Salam sejahtera, anda bersama saya Rozman dan ini Niaga AWANI. Kementerian Kesihatan KKM menerima peruntukan kedua tertinggi iaitu RM45.3 bilion tahun depan berbanding RM41.2 bilion untuk menjalankan tugas-tugas asas termasuk memastikan kemudahan perkhidmatan kesihatan awam yang berkualiti, selesa dan juga mesra rakyat. Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim berkata peruntukan berkenaan meliputi RM1.35 bilion bagi menyelenggara prasarana kesihatan termasuk membaiki tandas hospital yang uzur dan wad-wad pesakit yang usang, dan bersedia dalam talian untuk bantu kita memberi analisis dan juga fahami impak peruntukan ini adalah Profesor Datuk Dr. Syed Muhammad Al-Junid Syed Junid, Profesor Ekonomi, Polisi dan Pengurusan Kesihatan, Pakar Perubatan Kesihatan Awam, School of Medicine, IMU University. Saya nak ucapkan terima kasih Prof kerana sudi meluangkan masa bersama kami. Kalau kita lihat, Kementerian Kesihatan terima RM45.3 bilion dengan fokus untuk menaik taraf prasarana, rawatan penyakit kritikal dan program penjagaan kesihatan. Bagaimana Prof dapat menilai peruntukan ini pada fasa awal berdasarkan konteks ekonomi dan kesihatan sektor ini?
Ya, terima kasih Saudari Nina kerana menjemput saya untuk memberikan ulasan mengenai bajet 2025 ini. Kalau kita lihat nilai bajet yang diberikan kepada Kementerian Kesihatan iaitu 45.3 bilion adalah merupakan salah satu daripada bajet yang terbesar yang pernah kita lihat dan diterima oleh sektor kesihatan. Dan kita juga ambil maklum bahawa ini adalah merupakan bajet yang kedua terbesar dibandingkan dengan yang diterima oleh Kementerian Pendidikan. Jadi kalau kita lihat kedua-dua sektor kesihatan dan juga pendidikan ini memang ada kaitannya, dan salah satu daripada elemen dalam apa yang kita sebut sebagai social determinant of health adalah pendidikan. Balik kepada 45.3 bilion yang diterima itu, ini menunjukkan peningkatan 9.8% daripada tahun yang lepas, iaitu kurang lebih 10.7% daripada keseluruhan bajet negara. Jadi ini merupakan satu nilai yang agak besar, dan kita juga berterima kasih kepada Yang Berhormat Menteri Kesihatan kita Datuk Seri Zul yang berjaya meyakinkan Perdana Menteri kita untuk memberikan investment yang begitu besar dalam sektor kesihatan, terutama sekali apabila negara kita menghadapi berbagai cabaran dalam memastikan bahawa perkhidmatan kesihatan yang kita sampaikan kepada masyarakat kita adalah berkualiti baik dan dapat diakses oleh semua golongan masyarakat. Kita menghadapi masalah yang besar dari segi penyakit-penyakit tak berjangkit. Pada masa yang sama kita juga menghadapi masalah dari segi peningkatan kos kadar inflasi untuk sektor kesihatan yang melebihi daripada 12% dibandingkan dengan inflasi secara umum cuma sekitar 1.9% saja. Kalau kita lihat elemen penting dalam bajet ini adalah ada keseimbangan di antara perkhidmatan preventif, kuratif, dan pada masa yang juga usaha untuk mempelbagaikan sumber keuangan bagi sektor kesihatan, terutama sekali menumpu pada masa sekarang tumpuan diberikan untuk memastikan bahawa sistem cukai yang ada itu dapat kita olah dan juga kita sesuaikan supaya lebih banyak sumber keuangan dapat didapati daripada sistem cukai untuk dikhususkan kepada sektor kesihatan. Jadi banyak elemen-elemen dalam pembiayaan ini menuju ke arah itu. Ini merupakan satu petanda baik bahawa negara kita memberikan keutamaan kepada sistem perkhidmatan kesihatan, dan saya yakin kita akan dapat menyampaikan perkhidmatan yang terbaik kepada masyarakat negara ini.
Seperti yang Datuk kongsikan, dilihat bajet pada kali ini ada keseimbangannya antara perkhidmatan preventif, kuratif, termasuk juga dengan iaitu usaha-usaha pelbagaikan sumber kewangan daripada segi skop cukai, dan dengan peruntukan besar ini penting untuk kita memastikan tiada keterisan. Bagaimana kementerian termasuk juga dengan iaitu kerjasama merentas sektor, pelbagai agensi akan memastikan bahawa tiada berlaku keterisan atau penyalahgunaan data. Ini penting khususnya dalam projek-projek berkaitan prasarana kesihatan, dan memastikan setiap projek yang dilaksanakan itu memenuhi jadual yang telah ditetapkan, Prof.
Ya, sebelum kita pergi kepada isu ketirisan ni, saya nak ulas sedikit tentang satu elemen penting di dalam memperbagaikan sumber keuangan daripada cukai. Apa yang dimasukkan di dalam bajet sekarang ini adalah cukai daripada minuman bergula tinggi dan juga disebutkan situ juga elemen ini di mana cukai ini akan dikhususkan untuk Kementerian Kesihatan. Satu lagi adalah cukai untuk rokok. Walaupun cukai rokok tidak ditingkatkan pada tahun ini, kita harapkan cukai rokok akan terus ditingkatkan. Tetapi ada statement itu mengatakan bahawa apa yang dikutip dalam cukai rokok sekarang akan juga diberikan kepada Kementerian Kesihatan untuk menjalankan program-program preventif, promosi kesihatan dan sebagainya. Jadi bagaimana kita memastikan bahawa kewangan yang begitu sumber kewangan yang begitu tinggi yang diberi kepercayaan kepada Kementerian Kesihatan dapat dijalankan dengan sebaik mungkin tanpa berlaku sebarang ketirisan dan sebagainya. Apabila kita mengendalikan dana atau semangin dana perkhidmatan kesihatan, dua elemen penting yang harus kita lakukan. Pertama sekali, kita harus memberikan atau menggunakan dana tersebut untuk memberikan perkhidmatan yang efektif. Bukan efektif saja tetapi cost efektif. Yang kedua, tidak berlaku ketirisan, bermakna tidak berlaku penyelewengan dan sebagainya. Jadi kita tahu bahawa 6 bilion diperuntukkan untuk pembelian ubat-ubat dan juga peralatan-peralatan kesihatan. Inilah yang harus kita pastikan bahawa apabila kita memilih proses-proses memilih mereka yang menjadi pembekal kepada perkhidmatan ini, pembekal itu harus dilakukan due diligence supaya mereka yang betul-betul boleh memberikan perkhidmatan yang terbaik, membekalkan perkhidmatan yang baik kualitinya akan diberikan keutamaan. Jadi kita tahu bahawa apabila pembekal ini kadang-kadang apabila mereka masuk ke dalam tender dan sebagainya, berbagai-bagai elemen dalam tender tersebut kadang-kadang tidak pun dapat dipenuhi, tetapi kerajaan atau pegawai pembuat keputusan harus menyemak dengan meneliti supaya pentanda-pentanda ini mempunyai kewibawaan dan juga mempunyai track record untuk mengendalikan program-program yang akan diberikan kepada mereka. Yang kedua adalah untuk memastikan bahawa kita mempunyai perkhidmatan yang cost efektif. Lebih baik kalau boleh peralatan-peralatan seperti peralatan perubatan, peranti-peranti perubatan, termasuk juga perisian komputer dan sebagainya yang kita akan gunakan dalam Kementerian Kesihatan ini dibekalkan oleh syarikat-syarikat tempatan. Ini harus diberikan keutamaan supaya kita boleh menyediakan perkhidmatan ini dalam kos yang lebih rendah, dan untuk memastikan berlaku maintenance yang baik, maka harus kita cari syarikat-syarikat tempatan yang boleh menyediakan perkhidmatan ini. Kita tahu bahawa di sektor pendidikan dan juga penyelidikan kita banyak peranti-peranti dan juga peralatan yang dihasilkan oleh universiti-universiti tempatan, tetapi sukar untuk dilaksanakan di negara ini disebabkan oleh berbagai-bagai halangan. Jadi kalau kita lihat di kalangan penyelidik dan sebagainya, apabila berlaku sesuatu inovasi, sukar kita memasarkan di negara kita sendiri. Malahan ramai daripada penyidik-penyidik kita yang menghasilkan inovasi ini terpaksa memasarkan di luar negara. Dan ini merupakan satu kehilangan besar kepada kita, dan kita akhirnya menggunakan peralatan dan juga bahan-bahan yang dihasilkan oleh negara lain yang mana kosnya jauh lebih tinggi. Ini kita sentuh juga mengenai penjitilan. Dalam melakukan digitalization of healthcare misalnya, banyak software dan sebagainya peralatan ini boleh dihasilkan oleh syarikat-syarikat tempatan, dan ini harus diberikan keutamaan daripada kita melakukan promosi untuk untuk mendapatkan atau pembekal daripada luar. Seterusnya, proses untuk memilih pembekal dan sebagainya harus transparan dan juga mesti ada accountability. Dari segi ubat-ubatan dan sebagainya, kita harus menggunakan elemen yang disebutkan strategic purchasing, di mana kita membelikan peralatan ubat-ubat dan sebagainya harus dilinkkan kos yang diberikan dengan outcome-nya. Kalau sekiranya dibuktikan bahawa hasil daripada penggunaan ubat-ubatan dan sebagainya itu berkesan, barulah kita boleh memberikan pembayaran yang setimpalnya. Ini harus kita lakukan link, tapi of course untuk melakukan ini kita memerlukan data dan juga memerlukan kepakaran untuk menguruskan perkara ini dengan sebaik mungkin. Jadi itulah di antara elemen-elemen yang harus kita pastikan supaya berbilion wang yang diperuntukkan oleh Kementerian Kesihatan ini dapat diterjemahkan kepada perkhidmatan dan memberikan perkhidmatan yang efisien dan juga efektif kepada semua ahli masyarakat.
Betul, seperti yang Prof kongsikan bahawa elemen-elemen ini sangat penting untuk diberi perhatian, terutama fokus utama ataupun fokus tumpuan utama, kerana penting untuk kita teliti ia adalah perkara-perkara yang akan memberi memastikan prasarana ataupun perkhidmatan kesihatan yang dinaik taraf ini dapat kekal mampan dan dapat memberi kesan positif yang berterusan kepada rakyat. Sekali lagi saya nak ucapkan terima kasih atas pencerahan ini. Sudah tentu kita akan memberi ruang lagi untuk membicarakan perkara ini. Saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Profesor Datuk Dr. Syed Muhammad Al-Junid. Syed Junid merupakan Profesor Ekonomi Polisi dan Pengurusan Kesihatan, Pakar Perubatan Kesihatan Awam School of Medicine IMU University, dan setiap perbincangan ini akan kami rangkumkan dalam astroawani.com dan di semua platform digital Astro Awani. AirAsia mengumumkan inisiatif baharu bagi mengurangkan pelepasan karbon di lapangan terbang melalui pengenalan teknologi sokongan darat terkini di hub utamanya di lapangan terbang antarabangsa Kuala Lumpur KLIA 2. AirAsia dan Smart Airport Systems SAS memperkenalkan penggunaan unit kuasa darat GPU dan unit penyaman udara ACU bagi membekalkan kuasa elektrik serta penyaman udara kepada pesawat ketika di darat bagi menggantikan unit kuasa bantuan APU yang kurang efisien dari segi kos pelepasan karbon kerana dikuasakan oleh bahan api terbin penerbangan. Gamuda Berhad dan rakan kerjasama JV memperoleh kontrak bernilai 4.3 bilion ringgit daripada Jabatan Sistem Transit Rapid Kerajaan New Taipei City bagi mereka bentuk dan bina bangunan bagi transit aliran masa Zhizhidoukou MRT di Taiwan. Kumpulan itu berkata kerjasama itu melibatkan Gamuda yang memegang ekuiti sebanyak 75% dan dua syarikat yang berpusat di Taiwan, Mitek Information Technology Corp 15% serta Dongpi Co Limited 10%. Philip Capital memulakan liputan ke atas BM Greentech Berhad yang dahulunya dikenali sebagai Boiler Milk Holdings Berhad dengan saranan beli pada harga sasaran TP RM2.65 sesaham. Katanya kumpulan itu merupakan pemain industri tenaga boleh diperbaharui RE terkemuka yang menawarkan rumusan tenaga mampan melalui kepakaran biotenaga dan rawatan air. Laporan penuh di saluran 501 dan astroawani.com serta dagangnews.com.
Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah JIWA SME, Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.
In Malaysia, agricultural waste is a significant issue, with the country generating approximately 0.122 kg of agricultural waste per capita per day in 2009, projected to increase to 0.210 kg per capita per day by 2025. This highlights the critical need for sustainable waste management solutions. Global Cerah, an innovative agri-tech startup from Sabah, Malaysia, dedicated to transforming agricultural waste into valuable resources through cutting-edge technology. And to help us understand better on this, I welcome you. Our guest ready on the line is Willie Ng, Managing Director of Global Cerah. Thank you very much, Willie, for joining me. Firstly, we want to take a look on the company vision and mission. Can you elaborate on the vision and mission of Global Cerah? How do you see the company evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
A very good morning from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. So Global Cerah, actually, we are integrating the organic waste management and also the production of alternative protein into a sustainable solution. So our main point is to want to turn those agricultural waste into alternative protein that can be used in feed mill and fertilizers. Our target markets we are looking at is the whole Southeast Asia, started from Sabah, Malaysia, to the whole Southeast Asia. And our ultimate vision for the next 5 to 10 years, we want to build a regional circular economy that can serve the best interests of the agri-food industry. And by using a circular economic concept, we actually can safeguard the environment and also to serve the local small farm holders.
And that is also the vision mission. We can see that is to support local community as well. What actually inspired you to start Global Cerah, and what were the initial challenges you faced in the agri-tech industry?
Well, I think happy to say that those we have our local community in Sabah that I serve currently, right? They are mostly as local small farm holders. They actually face a big challenge in terms of how to get the organic feed mill and fertilizers. And actually, this one actually have been a main cost factors. That's why one of the big challenges for us as a Global Cerah is that our technology, we have our technology, but how we're going to change the status quo and the norms or practices that already happened, from years to years. That's why now we want to give a new options to our local small farm holders. Education is a long-term movement that we want to do to help the small farm holder to change their mindset and using a waste circular solution like what we have provided instead of waste disposal.
And maybe integrating technology and innovation, your technology integrates robotic process automation and optic sensors. Can you explain how these technologies work together to manage agricultural waste efficiently?
So there's a very good question here. Okay, how we do it is that because we're using the concept of IoT, stand for Internet of Things. So basically we have a server to combine the RPA with the robotic process automation from the treatment until the recycling. Everything there is all fully automated. All the procedures are fully automated and have been controlled by the server as a brain. So this is the meaning of IoT, that makes sure that there is an efficiency, and the other thing is a consistent performance, and most important, it can handle mass volume of the agricultural waste that we have collected and then we treated and recycle them into feed meal and fertilizers.
And market is getting competitive, whether it's domestically or even globally. What are the key innovations that set Global Cerah apart from other agri-tech startups?
Okay, I think the most important in here is our technology, because we are integrated technology. It means that because basically in the industry nowadays, right, mostly they are either focused on waste management or they are just focused on the production of feed meal fertilizers. What we do is that we integrate both procedures into one so that we can lower down the risk of breakdown between the procedures, and we are fully automated so that we can have a consistent performance. And most importantly, the final product, which are the feed meal and fertilizers that we have, actually is having a high nutrition due to inside our system where we treated, we're using a temperature sensor to make sure that it won't, even though we can kill off the bacteria, but on the other hand, we actually maintain the nutritional value, which can reach out to 70% protein, which is very crucial, especially used in feed meals for the livestock. So this is the three main points that why we are so different or unique as compared to other agri-tech.
Maybe you can also share your business model and how do you ensure profitability while maintaining your commitment to sustainability?
Okay, so because we have a diversified revenue stream, first of all, we have the waste treatment fees that we charge on our customers. But of course, we give advantages, or where we say privilege, to our local small farm holder. We don't charge them. We only charge those larger businesses that involve in agriculture. So that's number one. And number two is the final product, which are the feed meal fertilizers. We are not sell within just Malaysia and within the Southeast Asia region. We have our customer in overseas, like in US and Europe, so that we can sell to them in a premium price, because there is a very high demand from those countries. They're actually looking for organic and products. And also the third one, we actually diversify into licensing. We have licensing to license our technology to country partners or other counterparts in the international market. So there are three diversified revenue streams to give us the advantages in profitability and also find the balance with the purpose that we want to do.
And really, can you discuss any key partnerships or collaborations that have been crucial to your success? How do these partnerships enhance your capabilities?
Well, I have to, first and foremost, right, we have to go in is that you'll be local small farm holders, because they are the source. They are the one who are willing to give us the agricultural waste. And that is very important, because agricultural waste always is our raw materials for us to turn them into feed meal fertilizers. So that is the first important partnership. The second is, of course, R&D partners. We have few R&D partners that work together with us to continuously to improve the system, improve the procedure from time to time. So these are the two. One is the local small farm holders or businesses, and the other one will be the R&D partners.
And maybe lastly, really, can you share with us long-term goals for Global Cerah and how do you plan to achieve them?
Well, in the long term, with Global Cerah, we are looking at is that we want to build the regional circular economy. So we want to enhance, or I would say to encourage, is using a waste circular solution. All the waste should be turned into something valuable back into the industry. And that is what we do now. We turn agricultural waste into feed mill and go back to the agricultural industry. That is the ultimate vision that we want to build. And it's using a waste circular solution in place of the normal, conventional method, like what we do is waste disposal using a landfill or incineration. So waste, if you go through a waste disposal, it just go back, to the land without any treatment. But if it can be circular back, it'll be a very good initiatives to change the landscape and let people, especially our target audience, to know about the importance of female fertilizers to the industry as a whole. So that is what we want to do, using a circular solution instead of disposal solution for those massive agricultural waste.
Thank you for helping us understand the urgent need for sustainable waste management solution and how it will affect the community and our future. And again, I will say thank you very much to our guest, Wee Ling Eng, Managing Director of Global Cerah, and all of our discussion here will be featured in astro.com across all social media platforms.
Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah JIWA SME, Unified Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.
Baik, saya akan kongsikan bagaimanakah perkembangan ringgit termasuk juga dengan perbandingan antara US dollar dan juga iaitu prestasi pasaran bursa saham di mana ringgit ditutup lebih rendah pada hari Selasa berdasarkan jangkaan berterusan penurunan kadar faedah Amerika Syarikat yang lebih perlahan. Ekonomi China yang semakin sejuk dan risiko geopolitik yang meningkat di Timur Tengah ini adalah menurut seorang penganalisis. Dan pada jam 6 petang, mata wang tempatan didagangkan pada 4.3255 berbanding dolar Amerika Syarikat berbanding 4.3045 pada penutup Isnin. Dan setakat pagi ini ringgit Malaysia berbanding US dollar kita dapat saksikan ia berada pada paras 4.3445 dan ini adalah nilai ringgit pada setakat pagi ini iaitu lebih kurang jam 9.25 setakat 23 Oktober 2024 dan kalau kita dapat saksikan nilai ringgit Malaysia dalam tempoh seminggu trendnya mengalami trend pengukuhan apabila graf ini meningkat menyifatkan nilai ringgit Malaysia semakin kukuh berbanding dolar Amerika Syarikat dan ini adalah prestasi nilai ringgit Malaysia yang dapat kita saksikan setakat 23 Oktober 2024 dan kalau kita nak beralih kepada nilai ringgit Malaysia perbandingannya dengan mata wang negara jiran iaitu Singapore dollar iaitu nilai ringgit Malaysia kini berada pada 3.29114 berbanding Singapore dollar setakat 23 Oktober pagi ini dan kalau boleh kita saksikan prestasinya lebih kurang tahun lepas sudah mengalami apabila graf ini meningkat bermakna nilai ringgit Malaysia semakin pulih sedikit berbanding Singapore dollar. Ini adalah prestasi yang terdekat dalam tempoh terdekat dapat kita saksikan setakat ini dan saya akan beralih juga kepada prestasi bursa Malaysia di mana kalau bursa Malaysia pada waktu semalam ia berakhir dalam wilayah negatif kerana ia meneruskan fasa penyatuannya disebabkan kekurangan pemangkin belian kata seorang penganalisis dan pada jam 5 petang FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI jatuh 3.14 mata atau 0.19% kepada 1,642.54 daripada penutupan Isnin pada 1,645.68. Itu adalah waktu dagangan paras FBM KLCI setakat penutup hari Selasa dan setakat pagi Rabu ini Bursa Malaysia ataupun FTSE KLCI berada pada paras 1,643.48. Ini adalah peningkatan sebanyak 0.94% bersamaan 0.06%. Prestasi Bursa Malaysia dalam tempoh jauh sedikit 5 hari daripada Khamis minggu lepas sebenarnya Bursa Malaysia mengalami tren peningkatan daripada paras yang terendah yang dicatatkan dalam tempoh 5 hari berada pada 1,638.26 dan antara paras yang tertinggi yang dicatatkan dalam tempoh 5 hari lebih kurang hari Selasa pada rekod 1,647.10 dan ini adalah prestasi Bursa Malaysia yang dapat kita saksikan lebih kurang jam 9.12 pagi pada 23 Oktober setakat pagi ini dan teruskan bersama kami di Niaga Awani untuk dapatkan rangkuman berita niaga, ekonomi dan pasaran dari tempatan hinggalah ke antarabangsa untuk kita lihat bagaimanakah prestasi ataupun keadaan semasa dunia perniagaan dan lihat lebih dekat kepada prestasi pasaran saham dan bawa ke anda perkembangan dari hinggalah dari tempatan hinggalah ke antarabangsa. Dan selepas ini akan bersama dengan rakan tugas Nabilah Khaleeda yang akan bawakan perkembangan jiwa SME selepas ini. Software One Holdings AG, penyedia rumusan perisian dan awan terkemuka, melancarkan pusat kompetisi awan Software One dengan kerjasama Amazon Web Services AWS di Kuala Lumpur. Pusat baharu itu akan memberikan kepakaran tempatan dan sokongan kepada perniagaan di seluruh Asia Tenggara dalam perkhidmatan cloud AWS, termasuk alat kecerdasan buatan generatif seperti Amazon Bedrock, sebuah perkhidmatan yang diurus sepenuhnya yang menyediakan satu API untuk mengakses dan menggunakan model asas berprestasi tinggi daripada syarikat AI terkemuka serta Amazon Q, pembantu berkuasa AI generatif untuk perniagaan dan pembangun bagi memacu transformasi digital. Shan Corporation Berhad menerima kelulusan pemegang saham untuk mempelbagaikan perniagaan ke dalam industri perkhidmatan pembuatan elektronik EMS serta pemerolehan Local Assembly Sdn Berhad semasa mesyuarat agung luar biasa EGM. Kumpulan itu berkata kelulusan itu menandakan kemajuan penting dalam inisiatif mereka mengukuhkan pertumbuhan perniagaan. Kenanga Research menjangkakan perkembangan produk pembungkusan inovatif akan menjadi pemacu kepada perluasan bahagian pasaran Tongguan Industries Berhad. Katanya bahagian filem regangannya menyumbang separuh daripada jualan kumpulan dan ia dilihat kekal sebagai pemacu pertumbuhan utama pada tahun-tahun akan datang. Laporan penuh di saluran 501 dan astroawani.com, sedagangnews.com.
Bila kerja sendiri, semua kena buat sendiri. Tapi, bersama rakan niaga, semuanya dapat ditempuhi bersama.
Nak coklat?
Hari ni tak boleh. Nanti saya kena dengan mak saya.
Pepsodent baharu disahkan halal. Mikrokalsium aktif dan Proflorida kompleks membantu memperbaiki lubang halus akibat makanan manis sebelum menjadi kaviti untuk pelindungan maksimum. Pepsodent.
Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah Jiwa SME, Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda. Welcome back to Niaga Awani with me, Nabilah Khaleeda, and right now we're in the segment of JIWA SME and approaching the last series of JIWA SME 2024, which will be held in Central ICT Shah Alam on the 25th, 26th and 27th this weekend. Basically, we want to dive into one of the important sector or segment, which is financial technology or fintech. And right now joining me in the studio is one of the speakers for the last day on Jelajah JIWA SME 2024 at Central ICT, which is from Swipey, the financial operations platform, which aims to transform the way SMEs keep the tabs on their spending. So joining me right now is Khaleeda Mohan, the co-founder and also the CEO of Swipey. On his right is Rovin Tirochelvam, the co-founder and so CFO at Swipey. Thank you so much for joining me this morning in the studio for Niaga Awani. How are you guys doing?
Thanks for having us, Nabilah. Really appreciate. We're doing great. It's a good day. Again, thanks for having us.
And looking forward to the JIWA SME, right?
Yes,
but
we are.
Before that, we would like to have a discussion first here. Maybe you can share, both of you are the co-founders. So how do you start these financial platforms?
Well, maybe we'll start off with giving a little bit of background because that leads to why we're doing what we're doing. So my background, an engineer who stumbled into the finance function.
Wow.
And I was working with an American company called General Electric for 13 years. And part of that 13 years, the early part was predominantly finance, closing books. So as an engineer, I had to learn how to close books. But eventually, I was leading the digital transformation for the oil and gas business. Now, part of the digitalization effort was around people, process, and platforms. So focusing on how to get better outcome, better output, and ultimately increasing growth and revenue for the business. And in 2019, I decided to come back to Malaysia, be with family and friends. And at that time, I was working with friends and family with their businesses, and many of them said the same thing to me, Mohan, how do I grow my business? And during that time, while I was going to the data and figuring out, okay, how do I grow this business 5 times more, finance is always the go-to function, even in my earlier days and even that time, where we call it, it's the pulse of a business. So if you want to know what's happening and where to tweak to improve, finance is ultimately where you go to get your numbers. And when I was doing this and trying to help this business, I realized that the finance data entry, data point, the process were generally in tatters. They were not well organized. What would take you a day to get insight into which product line is good for you took us months to gather the data. And we couldn't make decision quick enough, couldn't make the right decision, things like which product line to focus. So that was, again, the moment where I said, wow, we need to change this. Then you supplement that by the, I guess, macro factor, which is businesses are digitalizing. They are moving faster than ever. What used to be 10% of your total company expense being on digital tools, now it's about 30-40%.
Correct.
Marketing and CRM tools, like customer management tool, it's just increasing year over year. So as businesses are digitalizing, what we realized was the finance operation was not moving in the same pace. So Swipey was kind of born out of that, what I call frustration on my part, not able to help these businesses, but also noticing that in Malaysia and Southeast Asia and wider parts of the world, businesses are changing very quickly, and the traditional systems that are supported are not well suited.
Amazing. So starting from engineering background, moving into fintech landscape. What about you, Rovin?
So thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having us. I also, like Mohan, started with the General Electric company, and I spent time there in different countries, and then ultimately came back to Malaysia as well, and I joined a banking group here. And it was quite interesting, transitioning from an MNC, coming back to Malaysia, and then looking at SMEs in the country. So I had about close to 7 years of running around Malaysia, looking, and not just in KL, you have to go to outskirts industrial zones and go and look for SMEs. These were SMEs that we could bank or back as an investment, and part of the process was doing due diligence on these SMEs. A variety in Malaysia, macam-macam ada kan. So it's quite nice to go and see the different industries that are out there. But one of the realizations that I felt and saw was that when you start to study these SMEs, whilst they've got very good product, they've got good sales team, marketing reach and so forth, I mean, they're trying very hard to do their best. The finance process is very manual, very takes a long time to close their books. They have difficulty in understanding their finance data, as Mohan mentioned, because it hasn't kept pace with the way businesses have managed themselves in their journey. So my realization was that, having seen things at MNC level and having compared notes with Mohan over the period of time, that there's an opportunity here to help SMEs. When I moved on into a entrepreneurial journey, so Swipey is not my first startup. I was helping, basically started 2 other businesses together with some people, and these are all very digital businesses, right? And that was quite interesting to see, right? In syarikat pemula, as they say, product is digital, pemasaran is digital, tetapi finance manual. So I said, wow, so even for a digital business,
started manual.
The processes are manual. So I said, okay, there's definitely something here that we can help to change and transform the way SMEs are run, starting with finance.
What year was that, if you don't mind me asking, when you see all the SMEs running still and manual?
For the last 10 years, to be honest. So I came back to Malaysia, it was 2009. And still, I guess the digitalization has really happened post-COVID, where everyone realized that, yes, we've heard of the word digital, but only until COVID happened, nobody really did anything about it, and they were forced to transform. So I'd say the pace at which digitalization is happening has really increased.
Ever since COVID?
Since COVID, but it's the tip of the iceberg. There's a long way more to go. So, we are here to help businesses to achieve that outcome.
What we noticed was digital commerce, e-commerce platform, marketing agencies, those type of companies were on the rise. not only to serve the local market, also to serve the global market. There are multiple agencies, like marketing agencies, set up in Malaysia to serve US, serve Europe. So Malaysia became a nice hub for that. And like yet Ruben pointed out, it was not keeping up to pace to the digital world.
And that leads to my next question. Kaliana, mungkin can you share on how the different kind of gaps that we see right now in this landscape, digital landscape, how is it different? How is it differ from the last 10 years? Is there any difference?
Digital landscape?
Yeah, the kind of gap.
So now digitalization, I would say it's a must. Then the question is where you digitalize. That's question number one. Question number two, do you realize you need to digitalize? That's the other one. So where you need to digitalize let's take from a fintech landscape. For the last 10 years or 15 years, if not, it's been focused on a single point, which is around the payments. So e-wallet payment, QR pay, payment gateways. So very focused around the last mile transaction of funds from one person to another. But if you then translate that into a business, there are 10 steps before you make the payment and 10 steps after that you need to do. Like before you get a payment, you need to issue an invoice, you need to make sure it's the right customer. If you're a larger business, you need to verify that the customer is good. If you're paying someone as a vendor, validate the vendor, bank details, even before you click the button, say pay. And after payment, you need to reconcile, make sure the receipts are there, the supporting documents are there to help you close the books on time. For one, when you close your books, you get insight into, hey, how much sales did you make? That's the first one. But eventually you need to close because you've got that regulatory submission to your LHDN. So where the transformation is happening, at least where we said it needs to happen, is let the boys who did well in the payments space, let them continue. But all the steps that no one is taking care of, and it's critical, is where Swipey steps in. So let us help you with all the rest, and we integrate with the payment methods so that it's a holistic approach into taking care of your finance function.
But at this moment, we do see that the rise of many other fintech solutions provider other than Swipey. I'm not mentioning names here, but so how do you stay relevant in this industry, and how do you see ahead, and also how do you differentiate Swipey with other brands as well?
It's a good question. I think when we first started off, we told people what we do. They're like, oh, how is it different from A, B, and C? Without naming names again. So we focus less on technology, but we focus more on outcome. And we say, to achieve that outcome, what technology do I need to get there faster? And our outcome that we chase is simple. Help you close your books 5 times faster, save money by removing non-value added activity, and help you make decision faster. Now, to achieve that is where we build technology around it, and that's how we differentiate, because we're so focused on that outcome, helping businesses get that outcome, that everything else kind of fits in place. So we feel, and we know, Swipey was the first in the country in 2022 to launch a corporate card solution for businesses, SMEs, and that technology at that point itself was pretty much advanced. And fast forward 2 years, we have functions to help your account payable, your management of your vendors. We've gone so far ahead that we look so different from 2 years ago. So that, I guess, speed of morphing into this finance operating platform will continue, and we'll continue differentiating from there.
You have anything to add?
I think the other thing is, from what our customers say to us, Swipey has got very good customer service. And that is something that is we're quite proud of. And we constantly keep a pulse on. So for example, we always do customer surveys every few weeks to see what our customers are saying, and we score that and we track it, and the team is on point with that. So I would say maintaining a focus on the customer and making sure that they achieve certain outcomes, and making sure our customer service and success team are there to support is another differentiation factor for us. The other thing is, people always ask us, why us? Why are we doing this? And it actually lends to our background, right? So both Mohan and I, being ex-finance professionals, having seen best practices by working with large MNCs before around the world, having seen different industries, understand the pain points, we were able to take and distill our experience into a simple product and service, and we call it Swipey, which is we think it's a nice name, and it, you know, it's an approachable name, it's an approachable business, and it helps make finance fun for non-finance people. When most businesses, when they start a business, they don't think about having the best finance team, right? They want the best product, the best sales team, they want to have good pricing, good reach, and so forth. And we felt that finance piece was missing. So we actually help business owners who may not be very good in finance to get to an outcome as Mohan described just now. And that we feel is where we are focusing foremost, and will help us to get there faster and win more market.
For Swipey, considering that we are focusing on SMEs, do you have a specific qualifications or criteria that you're looking into for SMEs? Yeah,
so we do, like SME in Malaysia is a very wide market, and for us, where we've focused on what we call modern SMEs, but you can actually break it down even more. And these are basically businesses who are, let's call them digital commerce. So any business today that is selling a product or a service online, that's a good target market for us. Digital marketing agencies as well. As Mohan mentioned, they're not only servicing clients in Malaysia, they actually service clients globally. So that's quite interesting. So those are two customers that we have focused on. But having said that, Swipey today, after 24 months, we have thousands of businesses on the platform, which are beyond those two segments. We cover large retail chain formats as well. We support a few government agencies along the process. So it's quite
not intentionally. As a startup, we are focused. Let's make sure we put all resources in one area. But I guess the offering and the product that we have with the customer support has also enticed other. So like Ruben mentioned, government agencies also use us, but they were not our first target customers at all. But they've heard of us and they like what we do, and we onboard them as well.
I mean, it's been a positive journey for both of you, for Swipey especially. So that brings to my next question, where throughout this whole experience of building this fintech solution provider, it's when we talk about how we can transform, actually digitalize all these businesses, especially SMEs. So what kind of rewarding, also challenging experience that you faced so far building this Swipey?
We can talk about the challenges. It's always easy. So when we first started, it was who's Swipey, who's Mohan, and who's Ruben. Okay. We were nobody. So I guess the first few months of the journey is building credibility and building some brand awareness. That's, I think, always going to be challenging, and you continue doing that by making sure that your product is good, your customer support is good. So you build that credibility, and we feel we've achieved that to somewhat extent. 40% of our customers today are all referral. So when someone's telling someone about us, and we're getting through that. The other challenges generally for any startup, any business, is getting the right culture, getting the right team in place. There's only so much Mohan and Ruben can do in the 24 hours they have in a day. Yet if you want to run super fast, you need to get a team that's running with you. So getting the team right is always going to be the difficult challenge. But if you focus on getting the right guys in place and girls in place, then you can achieve the outcome. So I guess that also leads to some of the benefits, I guess the pros that we've got. We do have an excellent team supporting us. They're able to see the vision. They are able to act even before we say a word. So those are the outcomes we'd like to see, and the culture we'd like to see, and we're seeing it.
How big is the team now?
We are a team of 15 individuals, including me and Ruben. So we're a small team.
Small but mighty.
Yeah, it's I in many. Many double hatters enjoy their work, enjoy what they do. So we are able to execute at 120% because of that love and joy that we have.
You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think Mohan covered some of the challenges. I think some of the rewarding factors have been, when you get outcomes for your customers, it's really rewarding for us. And so, as Mohan mentioned, building the product and service and getting the team around it has been great. But how does that translate to outcomes for the business? And so when I'll give you an example. Like, we've got a client of ours that's a digital marketing agency, and they started a couple of years ago. And within 24 months building their business, they suddenly realized that they hit an operational roadblock.
Oh, wow.
Right? And they had bottlenecks in the way they were building out the business, and they could not grow to the next level. You know, so some of the issues there were they didn't understand which product was giving them the right margin. They didn't understand which customer is a profitable customer to serve. And so when they don't have those decisions or the data points to make those decisions, they do not know where to focus, right? And unfortunately or fortunately, all that data actually sits within the finance team, right? So when we were able to understand the way they were running their business, we were able to help them by saying, hey, you know, here's Swipey, we can help you implement a few things, and here are some best practices to implement along your way to evolve or transform your company. Fast forward, today they have digitalized their finance processes. They have a lot more visibility on their cash. They can make better decisions that will affect businesses' outcomes. And you know, as a result, right? Obviously, people want to know what the results.
Right.
This business has grown 3 times since we got involved with them, and they've saved about 100 man-hours a month in terms of cost saving. So that to me is a really awesome outcome, and it really inspires both Mohan and I and the team to do more. So yeah, it's.
Then the question always is, if I can grow this company 3x, what can I grow this company 30x? So you always want to push the boundary, push the envelope a bit
Always
more.
the next thing. And I believe that's one of the many success stories that you shared about with Swipey. But in the future, moving forward, do you have some kind of plan to introduce innovative features or services that you plan to introduce for upcoming years under the plan of Swipey itself?
From a product point of view, I would say our roadmap is 2 years ahead.
Every 2 years.
Meaning we are looking 2 years ahead and saying, oh, we need to incorporate XYZ functionality to achieve that goal that we mentioned. So we are consciously working on improving the product. I remember one of the first conversations we had with a potential customer and an investor. They were like, so when do you stop building? I said, we never stop building, because the route to progression never stops. You always continuously improve. So we never stop. So in that point of view, we said, yes, there's a lot of functionalities that we are working on. Many of them are related to that goal, which is, how do I help you close your books faster? And when I can do that, how do I unlock insight for your business so you can make better decisions? That primary goal, we then automate all the processes, underlying processes, so we can achieve that goal. So there are operational ones which now are expedited by the incorporation of artificial intelligence, and we are doing that too, where, like Ruben pointed out, one of my goal for somewhere in the middle of next year is for a business owner to go to their finance tool, Swipey, and ask questions like, hey, what was my last 6 months spent? Where have I spent the most? Which vendors increased their cost, or by how much? Ask these questions that I remember our CFOs used to ask us when we were in GE, and we used to scramble and getting data, spend a week to come up with one PowerPoint presentation about.
Yep.
And
I can imagine that.
So the goal is
hassle.
how a non-finance person can get these insights from their finance analyst, which is Swipey. It's ultimately the goal, and we are about 6-7 months away from getting to that kind of functionality. But having said that, the product's always going to evolve. There's going to be a lot more stuff they're going to incorporate.
I mean, we do have AI right now, AI automations and all these IoTs. It's just getting faster. Now we have Industrial Revolution 5.0 right now.
Correct.
I couldn't catch up, but that's the reality right now. And with the growing interest in digital banking and also financial inclusion, how does Swipey aim to contribute or to actually expand to the undeserved markets?
Yeah, so thank you. That's a great question. Again, digital banking is something that we knew was on the cards when we first started Swipey, and we said to ourselves, when the time the banks are launched, we will be right there with them, and we will actually be complementary to the digital banks. When you think about what we are doing and the outcomes of businesses, we basically help them with their finance processes and getting basically better at running their business from a finance point of view. Now, when your books are in order and you have data that is real time, you can then basically go and approach different finance institutions, digital bank being one of them, to seek further funding to grow your business. And our outcomes for the business allows them to access funding faster, and it ideally should be cheaper as well, because of the quality of the data. And so that the banker on the other side who's assessing the company has a lot more confidence and clarity in terms of what this business is really about, and it can assess the risk and therefore price the loan accordingly for the business. So with digital banks, we feel that it's very complementary, and we will be supporting our clients to access funding.
So far, do you guys have any collaborations with, per se, strategic partnerships with other financial institutions, or?
We do. We work closely with PDP lenders and banks as well, including the digital banks, to essentially do what Ruben has described. We do it a little smaller scale today with a bunch of customers, and we do that. The collaboration has shown a lot of positive outcomes, which is why we're very positive of extending this further in 2025 and reaching the goal that Ruben mentioned. And the collaboration also extends beyond just the banking funding providers from a private point of view. We've also worked with government-linked enterprises where funds are then provided to companies with Swipey being the platform it is used. From the funder's point of view, clarity and insight into the business is one. The other that many grants kind of look at is governance, ensuring that the funds are utilized at the right place. Swipey's finance operating platform is able to also provide that security and governance layer with it. So we also manage to see benefits from that, and likely to explore that further too.
Amazing. And we're almost at the end of the discussion, unfortunately. So last one, perhaps looking at the broader fintech trends, how do you anticipate the industry evolving, and how is Swipey preparing for that future shifts in the future? This is for both of you, by the way.
So, okay, so I'll take it step by step. I think the technology landscape is changing really fast and is moving really quick. So fintech being one of those technology is also facing that. However, fintechs are generally in the regulated space. For 9 out of 10 they are. So the speed is often hindered or slowed down because of regulatory component, and for right reason. The last thing you want to do is put your money where it's not regulated and it's not secure. So the regulators play a really critical part in slowing things down so people can take a deep breath and go like, hey, is this the right thing to do? So while that component is speeding, the peripheral ancillary components, like I mentioned, closing your books, getting your receipts in order, that part can grow fast without the regulatory component. So we do see that accelerating. The artificial intelligence or AI component of this, applied on a finance context, it's still growing, and we find that that's gonna be a game changer for many businesses, like the application I described earlier, and we think that's going to be growing fast as well. That's my point of view in terms of how fintech is going to take.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, and I think we are very early in our journey of digitalization for businesses in using fintech services such as Swipey. So there's a lot to do. There's a long journey ahead. There's a lot of awareness and education that comes with the process. I think one of the silver linings of COVID is that people are already not just thinking about it, they are actioning on it. And we see it from the growth numbers that we have, that it's very encouraging in one direction. The question that we always have is, how do we do faster? How do we do more with the resources that we have? So I think it's exciting times ahead. Like any tech industry, or there's always going to be bumps and challenges along the way.
Of course.
But the direction is quite clear as to where it's going. So it's going to be quite.
I might want to add, at least the last 1 year, 2 years, there's been a different perception of Malaysia and what opportunity Malaysia has.
Yes.
The last 6 months, we've actually noticed it when we talk to potential investors, we talk to guys who are looking to Malaysia. Completely different lens, and so that's positive for us, being two Malaysian founders starting in Malaysia, and we were really I guess we were strong-hearted about this. We have to start in Malaysia, have it based in Malaysia, and that's kind of paying off.
I mean, do you even consider? Do you have any consideration moving? outside Malaysia?
From day one, we knew we were going to be a global or regional or global business.
Okay.
But we always wanted to have our headquarters in Malaysia.
Amazing.
And that's really given for two reasons. One being Malaysian, close to home. But the other was Malaysia is a sizable market that user behavior, buyer behavior is closer to other part of the region. So if you can find success in Malaysia, you're likely to find success in other parts versus starting from an extremely efficient or effective country region where the behavior is extremely different. Then it's not reflective of what you're going to go sell in 2 years from now. So that was one of our driving factors to say, stay in Malaysia, let's learn as much as possible, let's win in Malaysia and you know, get 20,000 customers, 30,000 companies using us before we branch out.
I like the optimism. I mean, lately we've been seeing the robust growth and also positive trajectory in the economy of Malaysia right now. So I wish you all the best for both of you. And thank you so much, Khaleeda Mohan, the co-founders of Swipey, and also Ruvin. Thank you so much for coming and thank you for sharing your insights. We've run out of time already. And you can find this whole discussion on all of our social media platforms and astroawani.com. And thank you so much for watching.
JIWA SME, Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.
Jelajah JIWA SME 2024 sampai ke kemuncaknya. Jom ke finali JIWA SME di Central ICT Shah Alam pada 25 hingga 27 Oktober.
Luaskan rangkaian perniagaan anda bersama Unify Business serta sesi perkongsian ilmu bersama SME tempatan. Banyak lagi aktiviti lain termasuklah pencarian bakat dan persembahan artis. Jumpa anda di sana.
Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah JIWA SME, Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.